Can you make a video on how to make an item that you can only use or grab when you buy it in Rooms 2.0? I'll try my best, Titan. Because Rooms 2.0 does not have lock pickup with key, we're going to be using room offers and determining whether or not the player has purchased one previously to grant access to picking up certain items. This is going to be a one-time purchase to always have access to these items. To begin, we're going to be using an event receiver configured to onPlayerGrabbedObject and an if-has-tag chip. We're going to connect the executes together, and we're going to define this target as the object of the event receiver. The string of this chip, or the tag input, needs to be identical to whatever you're going to tag the object later on. To add a tag to a Rec Room object, go ahead and configure an object of your choice with a tag. You're not going to be using the tag filter enabled. Instead, you're going to scroll down until you see tags, and then you're going to add the tag that matches the Rec Room get object with tag. Next up, we're going to be using a room offer constant chip and a player has purchased room offer chip. Go ahead and define the room offer input of this chip as the room offer constant. To make a room offer, all you need to do is configure the room offer constant and press create a new room offer. Or you can open up your watch, go to this room, settings, and offers up in the top bar. Then you can press add offer and it gives you the same menu. You can name your offer, give it a description and an image, and here is where the important parts are: offer price, offer type, and items included. For the offer price, you can change the price to be whatever you'd like and make it cost tokens or inventory items if you want to make an in-game currency that they can buy this offer with. The way that the circuits are going to be set up, the offer type does not really matter. It can be set for default or one-time purchase. If you have it on the bulk purchase, players might purchase it multiple times when they really only need to purchase it once. For the modification later in this video, I would recommend using default because one-time purchase would prevent the modification from doing its job. Similarly, for the items included, if you want to just make this a one-time purchase, you do not need to include any items at all. But if you're going to do the modification later in this video, include at least one inventory item that can be added and removed from the player's inventory that gives them access to whatever they are purchasing using this offer. When a player grabs an object, if it does have a tag or has tag output, it can go into the run of the player has purchased a room offer. We're going to decide what happens next by using an if chip. On player has purchased room offer complete, that execute goes into the if chip, just like that. The player has purchased room offer bool also goes into the if chip. This means that the if chip will not run until the player has purchased room offer chip is completely done figuring out whether or not the player has purchased the room offer. The result of that, whether true or false, will go into the if chip as the condition. If true, the then output is going to execute, and if false, the else output is going to execute. What we want is the else output, because if the player has not purchased the room offer, we're going to tell them that they need to purchase it. From there, we're going to need an unequip from player and a show purchase prompt chip. We're going to take the else output of the if chip, because the player has not purchased the room offer yet, and unequip an object from the player. The object here is going to be defined as the same object that they grabbed by using the event receiver. Continue the execution from unequip from player into show purchase prompt, just like that. And then we're going to define the in-room purchasable by the same room offer as used previously. From here, there's just one last thing to do, and that is to connect the player inputs into the player output of the event receiver. This is to prevent the prompt to happen to every single player in the room and not just the player that tries to grab the object. As you can see, when I try to grab this eraser, it's going to prompt me with a purchase prompt, and it won't move the eraser at all. I also wanted to show you a one-time purchase in instance and not room lifetime. This could make it easy to reset progress in like a survival world so that players have to start over anytime they rejoin the room. This could be something similar to, I don't know, Call of Duty Zombies. The modification is going to be pretty simple. We're going to replace this player has purchased room offer with a player owns inventory item. And we're going to add an inventory item constant and just shift this room offer over here to make it more simple. Go ahead and connect it the same way that the previous chip was connected by taking the has tag output of the if has tag chip and setting it to the run. The player is going to be defined by the same player as the event receiver, and upon completion, it's going to go into the if chip. The bool will also be running into the condition input of the if chip. Make sure to create a new inventory item, and that inventory item also needs to be a reward of the room offer. That's very important. Creating a new inventory item is going to be very similar to the room offer. Go ahead and configure the inventory item constant and create a new inventory item. Alternatively, you can open up your watch, go to this room, Settings, and Inventory Items. There you'll find an Add Inventory Item menu that you can create and customize your own inventory item. Of course, the inventory item is completely up to you on how you customize it. For example, you could set the visibility to hidden so that the players don't have to worry about seeing the inventory item being added and removed from their inventory and just adding more clutter to their inventory. But you could also put it to always visible so that you can tell them in the description how they can purchase this inventory item. Don't forget to add that inventory item to the offer that you are using. We're going to be adding just 3 new chips: an event receiver configured to player joined, an inventory item get count, and an inventory item remove. Connect the execution of the event receiver to the inventory item get count. The complete output of the inventory item get count is going to go into the run of the inventory item remove. Both inventory item get count and inventory item remove will define the inventory item by the same inventory item as the previous player owns inventory item chip. The player can be defined by the player of this event receiver. And finally, the inventory item get count output for total count will be going into the input quantity for the inventory item remove chip. To put it simply, when a player grabs an object, the event receiver will go off, and it will check to see whether or not that object has a specific tag, this tag to be exact. And if it does have that tag, it will run the player owns inventory item chip. From then, if the player does not own the inventory item, if it is false, it will continue on with the else and remove that object from the player's hand and give them a prompt to purchase that. If they do own the item, then it will skip this and they can pick it up normally. When a player joins the room and they already have that inventory item, it will get removed from their inventory so that they have to purchase it again. The way that I would personally use these circuits would be for like a how long can you last sort of game, sort of like Call of Duty Zombies, where you're fighting enemies and you're trying to survive. Maybe put a leaderboard to tell other people how far you've made it versus your friends. Of course, I would use an in-game currency so that players would have to defeat enemies and progress through the levels, or areas, and they would need to purchase better weapons as they go. This all would reset whenever they rejoined the room. Of course, don't let me stop you from any creative decisions you decide to do. This is just brainstorming how I would use it in my own maps. Anyways, I hope this answered your question, Titan, and I hope this helps other people as well. I'll see you later in the library, Rextorians.